So it's been a topsy-turvy season for Arsenal. What started out as probably Arsenal winning the Premier League title, especially when Rodri went down in their game, ironically, against Arsenal, has now turned into another season with no trophies. And it's been 5 years on the spin, Arsenal not winning a single thing. And what's really rubbed salt into the wounds, what's kind of made this a lot more realistic, is the fact that Tottenham has won the Europa League. Now, say what you want about competition, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? I'll be real, who cares? No one's going to care in 5 years about how bad this season was for the Premier League and how Liverpool really coasted to a Premier League trophy. No one cares, in it. Whoever wins is whoever wins. That's just kind of how football goes. And Arsenal fans, let's be real, you've also contributed to no context being given for stuff, all right? As someone who is a Tottenham fan, I've been at the end of Arsenal fan abuse for years, okay? This is what happens. Context doesn't matter. It's never mattered when it comes to insulting your rivals, and you're just going to have to deal with it. Excuses are valid. I'm not saying your excuses haven't been valid. You've clearly dealt with injuries. You've clearly had a lot of things not go your way. But at the same time, no one's going to care about excuses because you don't give people excuses. It's that simple. But with me, like, throwing on my objective hat, looking at things not really from a rival's perspective, but really from an unbiased, I guess, perspective, you're going to give Arteta some more time. All right, you have to, because I mean, what else are you really gonna do? You pretty much guaranteed sign Zubimendi at this point. I don't know what the striker situation is gonna be, whether you sign another one or I've heard Gyökeres and all these names. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. But what else can you really do except keep Arteta? I mean, Ancelotti's already gone to become Brazil manager, so who are you gonna get that's better than him? I mean, I don't know. Depending on what you mean by better than Arteta, how do you know that they're going to have the same impact? And I don't see another manager doing that, really. And let's be real, like, obviously, as I said before, excuses in the grand scheme of things don't matter. But when you're looking at it from a season to season basis, especially as an Arsenal fan, looking at how you can improve, the excuses are not, they're not the worst excuses I've ever heard. I mean, Saka, Odegaard, not Saliba, Gabriel, you know what I'm saying? Like, three of the most important players got injured for an actual period of time. It wasn't like a week or two they were out. It was like a decent amount of time they was out. Of course, there's always context and there's always ways to explain why things have happened. I would just want to point out that as time does go on, remember, it's been 5 years. 5 years can easily become 10 years. Like, obviously, Tottenham had the 17 years. And of course, when you're comparing 5 to 17, it's very different. Like, one's 12 years more. But whenever I talk to my friends that are Arsenal fans, I always point out that it always starts off as like a few years. But when you're competing and when you have a good team and you don't win, eventually you're going to have to go through a rebuild phase. And when you go through that rebuild phase, there'll be a few years in which you're not really competing. So it's important that you pick up trophies while you're competing, because when you're not, that rebuild could take a few years too. Who's to say, let's say, for example, after next season, if you don't win anything, that's 6 years. Then let's say Saliba's gone, maybe Saka's gone. In a hypothetical world, right? Let's say some of your best players start to leave. You're going to have to go through a rebuild phase, in which case you may not be in contention for the league anymore. You may not win any cups. And that might take a couple years in itself, which means before you know it, you might be at 10 years. At that point, it's a decade of not winning a trophy. That's pretty much what happened to Spurs. Like, I'm speaking from experience right now. What I'm saying is objective truth. Like, we won the trophy in 2008. Then we became so good and we were competing for everything, but not winning anything. We didn't win anything while we were that good with Poch. So then when it started to plateau and then decline, we still had no trophies to show for it. Then we had to do a rebuild. Lo and behold, we win a trophy, but it's been 17 years later. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, that's a long time. But when we're talking about phases and rebuilding and processes and all that stuff, how many processes and phases are going to happen in 17 years? It's going to be maybe like 3 or 4. It's not going to be that many, because you got to think about it. Processes and phases take a few years in between themselves. So you're probably thinking, why am I saying Arteta should stay? It's because you man are probably going to win a trophy next year. That's why. I'll be so real. There's only so many times a team can stay as good as Arsenal and not win. So you might as well keep Arteta. At that point, like, you already have a group of players that are good enough to win the league. So you're going to have to just keep all of them together until it's quite clear that you can't win a trophy anymore. That's pretty much what happened with Tottenham. We kept the same group together until we reached the Champions League final. Once we didn't even win that, it was like, all right, cool, we're not winning a trophy with these lot. It's stamped. You guys haven't reached that yet. You reached the semi-final, but until you reach that point where it's like, all right, cool, we've tried everything, and we still can't win, then at that point is when you start saying, you know what, fuck this, let's have a change of manager in it. You're getting there, but you're not actually there yet. So in my opinion, it would make more sense to keep Arteta and to just keep this going. Try and get a striker and then see what happens. Because for as long as Arteta's been here, he hasn't really had a striker. Obviously, he had a Aubameyang and then he left, but that was 5 fucking years ago. If you get a proper striker and then you still don't win, then it's time to have conversations. But for now, you might as well keep Arteta, keep him in the job. You know what I'm saying? Stick this process or phase, whatever the buzzword is, stick it out for maybe another year or two and see where it gets you. If you don't win any more trophies, then have some conversations. But to be fair, I might end up still being on YouTube 2 years later telling you to keep Arteta because I'm a Tottenham fan. But all of that is to say, hey, believe in your manager, fam. I believed in mine at times, and we won a Europa League in it. So he won me a Europa League. There's a parade happening as I'm recording this video. I'm not going because I'm here. Hey, believe in your manager the way we believed in us. And you'll win a trophy. No cap. Fuck Arsenal. Peace.
I'm not a savior nor a saint. Told 30s and sticks with an open case. I try to behave when I know I can't. So purpose of this is to motivate. What's the ticket? Shit we can negotiate. Take a toke of the law while I pour the drink.